Hi and welcome back. So in this section, I feel that I have spoken about this since we started looking at conditional statement. To be specific, since we started looking at the if-else block. Now, the compounded if-else, this one, we have an if and then the condition, and that will be done if the condition here is true. Then you can also have an else if. Maybe if x is less than 10, do this. Else if x is greater than 10, do this. Else if x is greater than 100, do this. And then the final else, you'll just say x is too big or x is too small. So by now you know exactly how this works. And therefore, we are comfortable enough to just look at an example. So if I come here, I have these snippets. So you'll get these snippets and you can use them and edit them as you wish. So the if-else compound, in this section, we still have a variable of marks. So let's say we have marks of students, right? And maybe this is being input by the user. You tell, if it is a system, you have a form that takes value from the user. So we are going to see how that happens in future. Right now, let's just learn about all these elements of JavaScript, and then you learn how you can incorporate them later on. For instance, let's say this was being taken from the user, like you input the marks of a student, and then maybe this is even coming from an array. So there are different ways this variable can be populated. So the first thing, we have the variable of marks, and marks start from 0 to 100. So we can say the first if the marks of a student are greater or equal to 80 and the marks are less or equal to 100. So you remember in the last one we were able to go up to 188 for the marks, and that is what this is trying to curb. So if you put marks which are greater than 100, they will not have anywhere within our code. They will not fit in any of these, and therefore they will be handled by this. So the first one we say from 80 to 100, your grade is A. Then else if marks are less than 80 and marks are greater or equal to 60, then your grade is B. And else if marks between 60 and 50, your grade is C. Else if marks are between 0 and 50, alert, retake this class because you have failed. And then if marks are below 0 and marks are above 100, then you'll just tell them invalid marks. So you're probably looking at this and wondering, what are these? So this is an AND, logical AND. So one thing that I tried to be very empathetic about was programming. So before I taught this JavaScript class, the first thing I did an HTML and CSS course, which any beginner would be able to understand what HTML and CSS is and how they work. And then from there, you can choose to improve your skills in HTML and CSS. And then the next thing I did was I did a 5-hour course, 5 freaking hours of introduction to programming, just talking about things like variables, constants, functions, errors and exceptions, operators, things like this. So if you look at that introduction to programming class, you're going to find these logical operators, and I looked at a couple of them, including these ones. So all of this is there. And then I also look at things like pluses, minuses, operators, different kinds of operators. If you want to learn about those, just go and watch that section on operators in the introduction to programming course. It is a fully 5-hour course, and you don't have to watch the entirety. You can watch the bits that you want to learn. Like in this case, these are operators. If you want to learn about operators, go and learn that. Although in the intro to programming, most of the examples I did were either in C++, a few in JavaScript, and in some sections I did a bit of Python, and then in certain sections also I did Java examples. So it doesn't matter. The idea of that course was that if you're new to programming, you'll find some things are a bit challenging there, right? You just watch the entire course. If you've never done any programming, you've never been to a computer science class, some of the things are going to be challenging, but that is how learning works. When you meet something for the first time, it's not easy. You have to read it again, or maybe you go and read it from somebody else, and then you come back and read it one more time, and you'll understand what the topic is about. That's how learning works. So if you've never done any programming before, you could go and watch that entire course. And if you come across bits that you feel, oh man, I don't understand what the hell this is, you just go to another section, or you just go to another place and you read more about that and you'll understand it. That's how these things work. You have to first of all face it. The first time you meet it, you don't know what the hell it is. The next time you meet it, it is familiar. The next time you meet it, you know exactly what it is and you can use it. And then the next time you continue using it, now you can use it without any kind of referrals. You don't have to refer to anything to learn what they mean. That's how learning works. So with that said, in the next video, we're going to take this. Let me just take this into Scratchpad, and then we're going to run it and see examples. And once again, I will explain the code. So if I come here into Scratchpad, let me remove all of this, and then I will paste in our code here. So I can see we have a missing that. Okay, so in the next video, let's go through this code one at a time so that we can understand what they do. Meanwhile, if you don't know what these are and you want to learn more about them, just go and you can even go online and just search for operators, logical operators. Even in JavaScript, they're there, and when we come across them, we will talk more about them. So I'll see you in the next video. Meanwhile, if you have any question, just let me know. I will be there to help you as much as I can.